Hey everybody. It's been about 2 weeks since the end of Rubber Tramp Rendezvous 2017, and I just thought I would kind of give my takeaway of the event, why I went, and what I got out of it. So first off, I just want to put out a open thank you to Bob Wells for putting on the event. I heard that there were over 500 of us out there, and so obviously with such a huge event, it means a lot of work, and so I think it's great that Bob not only helps us and with giving us all the information that he does, but also just taking on that big of a job since the event really is massive. So thank you to Bob. So my trip out to the RTR wasn't quite as easy as I was hoping it would be. I wasn't able to take a whole lot of time off of work, and so I had this idea that I would just go for the weekends. And the idea there was that I'm in Southern California, right? Quartzsite is just over the border of Arizona, so I figured, how far could it be, right? Can't be that far. Well, I probably should have looked at a map before I made that decision, because I'm a lot farther from the border of Arizona than I thought I was, and so it ended up being quite a bit of a drive to drive back and forth 2 weekends in a row. Now, of course, it's not a big deal. You know, I live in a camper van, so a little bit of a drive is not that bad. But the first weekend I was fighting off a cold. Well, I had a cold earlier in the week, and it really was kind of a last minute decision to go that first weekend. I almost didn't go at all, but I was feeling pretty good on Friday, so I ended up going out. But that just made the drive a little bit tougher. And then, of course, it made meeting people and shooting content for the channel quite a bit tougher. I did get to meet quite a few people the first weekend. I just went around saying to everybody, you know, don't shake my hand. I've I've been sick, so I got invited to camp with a bunch of great people, like I said, and half of them were YouTubers, and so it really made the event a lot more fun for me to just get a chance to talk to other YouTubers. Now, everybody else that was there were all on Instagram if they weren't on YouTube. So I did start an Instagram account, but don't rush right over to follow me on Instagram, because I'm not really using it to post for myself. I'm using it mainly just to follow along with kind of just what everybody else is doing, everybody that I had met and camped with. So over the last 10 months of me living in my van, I have had this kind of thought that I'm missing a small piece of the puzzle, kind of a piece of the van life puzzle. And I don't mean that when I say that, I don't mean that I am unhappy with van life in some way. When I look at other van dwellers, and that is primarily just on YouTube, because YouTube is my main source of one, information, and two, entertainment. So when I look across YouTube and I see other van dwellers, I don't see a lot of people like me, of course, that are static and just working a regular 9 to 5 job. The other thing is, it seems like, you know, everybody else seems to have things figured out really well. So obviously that is just my take from watching them on YouTube. And so a big reason why I wanted to go to the RTR was to meet some of these people that I've been watching for months on YouTube, and getting tips and tricks on van life. But I just want to meet them in person to see, are they really as happy and content as they appear to be online? Another thing that I was thinking of over the last few months is that I kind of look at my van, and my van, at least in my perspective, is kind of sparse. It's not, what I have is really minimal as far as I'm concerned. And, the things that I have done, they're done really simply. There's just not a whole lot to the van. And so it kind of makes me think like maybe my van could be better, and it's not like it's a competition with me. It's not like, I have to have the nicest van, or I need to keep up with everybody else. But it has been a thought with me, is that, maybe I could pick up some tips on how to build out my van a little bit better, add things to my van, just to make life a little bit more comfortable for me. So one of the other things that I've noticed when I went to the RTR is just how bare and sparse a lot of people's vans are. And these are people that have lived in their vans a whole lot longer than I have. I've got 10 months in my van, but I met people that were in their van for years, and they have a lot less equipment in their vans than I do. A lot of people didn't have refrigerators. A lot of people had really kind of meager solar setups, as far as I'm concerned. It seems like I've got a lot more amenities than a lot of people that have been full-timing for a lot longer than me have. So that kind of brought a newfound appreciation for my van. And again, not that it's a competition with me, and not that I've been unhappy with my van. Of course, there were a lot of vans that were a lot nicer. And I don't really aspire to have any of that. To me, it seems like what I have, and I guess this is kind of a takeaway from the RTR, but what I have is what I need. I have a lot more than a lot of people have, and what I have is working out very well for me. So there were a couple of people in particular that I wanted to meet. They were both on opposite ends of the YouTube spectrum. One of them doesn't post very many videos. YouTube's not a big thing that he does. The other is somebody that's quite popular, and probably we all subscribe to him and watch his videos. So from my perspective, just seeing what they post online, it just seems like they've got things really well figured out, and I just wanted to know if that was really true, right? If their online persona was the same as them in real life. So I did get a chance to meet those two that I was hoping to meet, and they really are both exactly the same in person as they are online. And so I found that really encouraging, because you do kind of wonder, is somebody really that happy? I mean, the one has been living in his van for 3 years, right? And so you kind of wonder, is he still happy living in his van? Is he just acting because he's got the YouTube channel, and that's what he's trying to do? But he really was genuinely happy about living in his van still after 3 years. I did make a new friend that I've been chatting with online over our channels. This is a third person, and she's the same. She's just as happy, and funny and everything online as she, or in person as she is online. And so just meeting all these people, I think, was extra encouraging to me. Just knowing that even though all of us are really, incredibly different, and all of us have really incredibly different van setups, that, there are really some genuinely nice people that are content and happy and just thriving, living in their vans. So as for the biggest takeaway for me for the Rubber Tramp Rendezvous, my first Rubber Tramp Rendezvous, was that I think it kind of takes me back 10 months ago to where I started out. My idea when I started out was that we're all so incredibly different, and we all have really different, desires and needs. And my idea back then was that if I want to live in a van, that should be perfectly okay. And if somebody else wants to live in a mansion in Malibu, that should be perfectly okay too, right? We're all incredibly unique. Anytime that we can embrace that uniqueness, and for me, the unique part is I can live in a small van and be perfectly comfortable. Everything else about my life is pretty much ordinary. I have an ordinary job. I do ordinary things. I have ordinary hobbies. I just happen to be okay with living in a small van. So I think this has kind of brought me back around to that idea, is that I need to concentrate less on what everybody else is doing, because everybody else is not me, right? Everybody else has different ideas, different opinions, different needs. And if I start to get caught up in what everybody else is trying to do, then that's going to nibble away at my little bit of contentment and happiness that I have found over this last 10 months. So the RTR has really kind of made me realize that what I'm doing is good. It's good for me, right? And I need to remember that, because if I start to take on other people's ideas of happiness and contentment, that's just going to knock me out of the happiness and contentment that I've found. So it was a little bit of a learning experience going to the RTR. I got some tips on the van, things that I need to change. I made some friends that I wasn't expecting to. But also I realized that when I started out on this journey 10 months ago, I had it figured out better than I thought I did. And so I need to just keep reminding myself of that I had a pretty good idea for living in the van. I had a pretty good idea of what I would need to live in the van. So what I need now is just to remember that, and remember that what I need is different than everybody else. So embrace your uniqueness, I'm going to say right now. I think maybe that might be a tagline for the channel here, but we'll see. But it was a good trip, and I had a good time. So when you have a good time and you learn a little bit of something, I think that's a good little vacation to have. So thanks for watching my video, and as always, please put any comments or questions down below. On that same note, I realize that some of you don't like to leave comments that other people can see, and so I went ahead and put up my my personal email address, so it'll be both in the description down below and also in the about section of the channel from now on. It's quite simple. It's just StaticCampervan@gmail.com. So if you did want to send me $1 million or, Whole Foods gift card. No, not really. I have a job. But if you did want to just send me a question or an idea for a video for the channel that you didn't want somebody else seeing, you can certainly send it to that email address. So just StaticCampervan at gmail.com. So thanks again for watching. I really do appreciate it.